Hi everyone, welcome to your weekly readings for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Happy New Year to all of you. Big year, big busy astrological weather at the moment, which I'm sure you're conscious of, but it's predominantly encouraging. It's emboldening if you're in enlightenment. You're going to feel energized by it if you're staying in alignment. So it's very, very powerful, but you can work with it. And it is a big week. We have an eclipse coming up in just a couple of days, lunar eclipse in Cancer. And then we're on to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn coming up around the 12th, 13th of January. So like it or not, you're going to be pushed to be in alignment, and if you set out as you mean to go on, this is going to be a lot smoother and it's going to feel a lot better, and it's going to help you to help people, to help yourself, to draw in the right things and to feel like you're in the right place. Fighting against it, letting your ego take over, that can be more problematic for you. If you're here, please say hi in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your new year has been so far. Let me know what things you're focusing on bringing into alignment at this time. And take the time to get nice and settled, nice and grounded. All this energy in Capricorn. It's a good time to connect to the earth, even more so than usual. So breathe in. And feel the energy rise up from the earth, and feel yourself reach down into the earth and just connect to it, because you are in the right place. Just keep on breathing until you feel nice and settled, because yes, there's an energetic urge to do something, but you want to be fully grounded, fully attached to the material when you're doing that. I'm going to start off in a moment by getting a sense of the energy for the collective for the next week. And then I'll move on to the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces. And if you're here, please remember to like and to share the video. That helps a huge amount. So let's get a sense of the collective energy for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Where are we coming from? Where are we going to in a big, powerful week like this? This is setting us up for the year, and it's setting up a new cycle. I'm sure you hear that a lot, but the nature of the astrology at this time is certainly that we kind of get exposed, and therefore we want to make sure that we are actually in alignment with our highest good, and we're not just battling against things. We're not just attaching to old paradigms, old thought forms, old belief systems that can hold us up. We want to be at our best here. And it's a time to accept help, and it's a time to offer help as well. Remember, the values you carry are all important. So if your response to the current situation and weather is to close yourself off, to say no to helping other people, to be very insular, then what does that mean for the external world? It means a more insular, isolated world. If you are able to just meet people where they're at, take them by the hand, just be able to share, listen, be in your own truth. So you're not here to be influenced or manipulated, nor are you here to hide away. And that just starts to set up a very different energy that we step forward with. So turn the cards over. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about, and this is the risk as well. This is the risk. There we go. What was I just saying? In the conscious position is the star. This is the future. We're looking forward to it, hopefully optimistically, but the future is literally going to be what we make it, to use a cliche. In alignment with something higher is what is going to guide you, offering hope, bringing hope, as well as looking for hope. And that's why we don't do it alone. So while we're not here to be influenced unduly by each other, we are here to be in a state of hope, optimism as role models, and offering love, support in that sense. Just ensuring that your ideas are truly your own. Understanding what might be cultural programming, might be an old belief system, might be a little archaic. Because the energy of the star isn't about grabbing the old, it's about moving forward to something better, seeing something better. Get those ideas down on paper as well. Talk about it, write about it, blog about it. Be in your own truth, be confident with what is in alignment for you, and talk about it, spread it. Don't feel like you've got to hide it away. You don't. It's right there for you, reaching out, reaching out. In the subconscious, the Chariot. This is the danger. We don't want to be unduly influenced by each other, but nor do we want to be selfish, single-minded, pushing forwards regardless without considering whether we're in alignment or not. The impact of our actions. Don't want the days to fly by doing the same old, same old, same old. It's why you got to be conscious of your own patterns here. Check on what motivates you. Is it the light? Is it the higher? Is it something better? Is it head down, pushing on anyway? I always did this. I'll always do this. It's fine. No, it's not. You got to shift. You got to change with it. Coming from a space of the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups for me can be that isolated space. So someone in the commentary box just there said, I'm doing okay, can't complain. Well, if something is shit, you can complain. You should. Honor all your feelings, all your emotions, your whole process. If something is wrong, if something makes you sad, if something makes you angry, don't stuff it down, don't stuff it away, don't push on regardless. Pick it up, inspect it, feel it, process it, deal with it. But we're not alone in this, and this is important. You don't have to be isolated either. 4 of Wands for the present position. You do have people around you. You're here to support them. They're here to support you. It's not like we're building from scratch. We're taking where we are and deciding where we launch off to next. And that is a judgment. That is a calling from higher. That is being in alignment with your higher self, with your guides, with spirit, with divinity, with whatever you connect to that inspires you, that enables you to draw strength and feel like you can move forward in that sense. It's also being willing to look at your own beliefs, your thought forms, as we've said, but also at cultural programming, cultural influences. What are the ways that your ideas have been manipulated? How deep have you gone? How deep have you dug? What do you take for granted? What do you take for granted that is just a trap that keeps you locked in place, keeps the same old power structures in place, means that you isolate, means that you turn against the other people? Look out for that stuff. Watch out for that stuff. Because we all have a responsibility to analyze ourselves and what's around us here. No playing games. No playing games with that. No messing about. This is what it's going to be going forward. So make sure that you're coming from a place of light and love and optimism and hope. But don't deny anything that is wrong, because that's a trap. It's a trap. It's not just everything's fine. It's this is where I want to be. But that's something really shit about the world. I'm going to stand against that. That's out of alignment with what I feel, with what I'm being guided to do. So I ain't taking that. It's also that. So it's not an opting out by any means. It's full involvement in whatever sense in life, helping to steer this forwards. And that is the collective energy for the 6th to the 10th. Sorry, 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Hi to everyone just tuning in. So hi Nkuli, hi Geek Girl Chat Tarot, hi Pam, hi Ladybug. Wonderful to see all of you. Please remember to like and share the video. I'm going to move on now to read for the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces. Remember, big astrological events, lunar eclipse coming, Saturn conjunct Pluto and Capricorn coming. That's why the focus is like this. So Aries, first of all, Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Actually have got 2020 vision on at the moment, therefore. Okay, Aries, you're quite light at this time, quite encouraging. I see you maybe like giving pep talks to other people. Just being kind, lifting them up. And then they say something or do something and it rubs against you. It rubs against your own belief system, your own things that you're taking for granted. And what do you do then? Do you work with that person and still support them? Or do you have a huge fucking fight with them on a low level? Bearing in mind that the things we're challenging are major systems and they are beliefs as well, but are you going to tear into that person or are you going to have a more healthy discussion with them? Because you're coming as the Page of Wands. And with the 5 of Swords coming in with it, I get the feeling that the people who you're trying to be with and help might just set you off a bit by having a slightly different view from you. Or maybe you're coming up against people who you still have old issues with, old bad blood with as well. So there's potential for confrontation for you. Doesn't have to be, it's a potential. Your advice is the Star. So are you going to be pulled into something really low level with individuals in your life? Or are you going to notice your emotional response and ensure that there isn't anything that you need to check about yourself as well? And there isn't a right or wrong answer, but it's about not being pulled into a pointless, draining fight, essentially. That's the risk of the 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords is very destructive. Your own inner conflicts come up. You might be going in quite forcefully because you want to attach to a certain way of thinking. And actually what you're fighting against with the other person is the fact that you have your own doubts there. You've got to work through that. You've got to be able to see clearly. Work out if this is productive for you, Aries, because you can be encouraging to people. You don't need to agree with them if they're talking shit. It's also true. But nor do you need to get drawn into pointless rows, arguments, battles, struggles against individuals, because the picture is way, way bigger than that. The Star is big picture, not small picture. So ensure your energy isn't being sapped and drained. I hope that makes sense for you, Aries. The next sign is going to be Taurus. Taurus, sun, moon and rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Taurus. Taurus, you might find yourself a little isolated. You might feel quite exposed this week. So you may not have people backing you up or even around you or on your side. And that might challenge you. Even as a fixed sign, that might challenge you. You might be like, maybe I should pull back from this. Maybe I should just go and see what everyone else is doing. Offer them my help. I don't feel you should. I feel that where you are finding yourself exposed or even feeling a bit out on a limb, I also feel that's where you need to be. You need to be taking that stand in whatever sense or focusing on that thing, whether or not the support is obvious. Because while I feel you are loved and there is support, this may be a week in which you go it alone a little bit. In trust, in faith. You're coming in with the 7 of Wands. So you may be out forging a path, battling alone, but you should be doing so confidently. What you don't need to do, incidentally, is demand other people come in. If people want to come in, they will. But what you can't be doing is placing demands upon them because they have their own focuses at this time. This is a challenge for you. I have the 6 of Cups for you. I also have the 5 of Wands for you. You might be feeling that more people should be around you out of loyalty. But this isn't about loyalty. This is about love. Don't mistake love and loyalty for each other. They're not the same thing. They're not. Someone can love you very, very deeply and still not be by your side or have to agree with everything that you're doing, but they can love you and respect you and support you as who you are. But with the 5 of Wands as the advice card, you don't need to go and battle for other people's approval. You don't need to work for their approval either. The right people are with you, even if you can't see it. And you've got to trust that you're acting in alignment. Check what you're driven by, but if it's genuine, you're able to face this down yourself, Taurus. You don't need to go waiting around or begging for other people to come in for you. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon and rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2019. Hi, intuitive Gem. Hi, what else? Gemini. Don't let yourself be too distracted this week, Gemini. And yet I'm a strong Gemini energy myself. I know we get distracted, but don't let yourself get too distracted this week. I have you coming in with the Fool. And this could be distraction in terms of, oh, but I'm a bit lovelorn or lovesick or actually in love. I want to focus on them and think about that all day long and not get on with the tasks in hand. Or, oh, there's a pretty thing. And there's another pretty thing, and that's interesting, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. And oh, the whole day's over. Didn't do much. So just be a little bit more focused if you can this week, Gemini, because there is stuff that you need to be working on. Now, along with the Fool, I also have the Wheel showing up for you. And I have the Six of Pentacles. And this is why there needs to be a bit of balance in where you place your energy as well. You see, yeah, love life is a thing, for sure. For sure it is. That doesn't mean you can't think about it. It doesn't mean you can't invest in it. But it's also can be a sense of sort of panicky. If I don't focus on this, maybe things are just going to drift away or not happen for me. So you need to be in slightly more of a state of trust in terms of being in the right place at the right time, because you are. Six of Pentacles, I feel, is just reminding you to work on the material as well. Put something into the material and crucially trust where you're at. Because that's what you're going to get stuff back from. So there has to be a practical focus and a work focus for you at this time, Gemini. You need to be making your own mark and not just kind of floating along in a little bit of a hazy bubble that doesn't necessarily lead to anything solid or tangible. I hope that makes sense for you, Gemini. The next sign is going to be Cancer. Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Cancer. Cancer. Lunar eclipse coming up in your sign, Cancer, and you're very, very connected in at this time. I am getting like literally my brow has just frozen. It's frozen as if it's ready to receive absolutely fuckloads of insight, to notice so much, to perceive so much. So you could be getting flooded with information and perception at this time. So much so that you might get caught up in it. Observe it a lot. But what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that information that's coming in, Cancer? I mentioned a need in the collective reading to potentially be writing, blogging, this kind of thing. It's coming in for you. It's coming in for you. There's so much. Get it down on paper. Get it down on paper. Is there something you want to produce, put out there? Get on. Do it quickly. Bang, bang, bang. Get it out there. Otherwise, you can get a little bit submerged. I feel a little bit caught up in this. Getting it out also allows you to stay grounded. That's really important when you're receiving a lot of information. Really, really important for you, Cancer. Picking up a lot, but you've got to be practical with it as well. Coming in with the Emperor here. And lo and behold, if you look at this, I'm just seeing this now. You see the moon, and you've got a lunar eclipse coming in your sign this week. See the moon shining straight onto the brow there. And that, I feel, is the heart of things for you. All of that's coming in. Conscious of it, but still in action. Still an Emperor. So I have the 8 of Pentacles for you. I also have the 10 of Pentacles for you. This tells me that there's that need to get it down. Make it part of a process. Part of the process. Move forward in that sense. Because you're learning from this. What does all this mean? You need to get it down. Work it through. Work it through. And then apply it to something practical. Something bigger. Where do I go from here? What do I work on from here? What does career look like from here? What does home and family life look like from here? Why you got to get this down? Because you need something to move on this. The 10 of Pentacles is about building something more solid there. Feeling assured, able to act with it. fitting it together. I don't know if you can see here that she's gripping 2 red threads in each hand, one in each hand. So it's about understanding how this fits in terms of continuity, where this leads you to. You're getting an analysis of where you've come from, your experiences, and then where you go next. And it has to be that practical focus for you, Cancer. That's why this is flooding in for you at this time. You are super, super activated. Like my crown is going off now as well. So higher chakras doing a lot for you. You got to get it down so as you can stay grounded and practical as well. I hope that makes sense for you, Cancer. The next sign is going to be Leo. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Leo. Okay. I did talk about potentially being set off in some sense this week for some of us, I would say, quite a lot of us in different ways, Leo, and you're holding firm, but I feel this because I'm getting this energy across like my shoulder blades. It's like a bristling, it's like an anticipation. Sometimes an anticipation of danger or a threat or something that you need to go and set about. And again, just be a little careful that this isn't something being set off. Because if it is, then it's something to work through, but not to react to. Not to react to. And it's like something is just throwing you slightly off balance, making you that tiny bit self-confident. And you need to be thinking big picture here. And you need to be thinking in terms of your own integrity again. So you're coming in with the 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups, I want to say for me here, is I feel a potential of being distracted or pulled away from necessary action, necessary completion. And maybe you're very close to completing a project. Maybe you're very close to making it in some sense. And something comes in, now you're having to adjust to it. Now, the part of this that you have to work out is this something that is going to move you further in the right direction into alignment, or is this a diversion for you? Is this going to throw you off course? I have the World showing up for you. And I have the King of Cups showing up for you. Now, the King of Cups, if you're embodying it, can be emotional maturity. The King of Cups, if somebody else is embodying it at this time, Leo, this could be somebody manipulative, somebody seeking to influence you. And remember, we can listen to each other, we can help each other, we can learn from each other. But we're not here to take on other people's ideas. We're here to be in alignment. So this is about a bit of wisdom as well. It's about wisdom, staying in wisdom. If someone is genuine, then they will be supportive, they will be helping you. Arm around the shoulder, why don't you look at this? This will help you. Someone intuitive but supportive. Otherwise, this could be a manipulative figure or even a manipulative structure set of ideas, belief system that is designed to kind of mess with you. You need to work out which it is, Leo. Back to that 9 of Cups. If they're a reptile, don't kiss them. It's not worth it. If they're genuine, then do. But you've got to work that out. Stay in integrity. I hope that makes sense for you, Leo. The next sign is going to be Virgo. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Virgo. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Virgo. Okay. You can accept love, Virgo. You can accept warmth, but you mustn't be distracted from things that are upsetting or painful. And no amount of superficiality and no amount of keeping busy and no amount of retreat is going to allow you to avoid your vital work. There are things that you got stuck on. There are things that you've avoided. Why did that happen like that? Why has this pattern played out? Why has this happened to me? Why am I in this place? What does this mean? Your own internal process is vital here, but your thoughts may play a few tricks, or you might just try to avoid altogether, and that's not wise. You might try to distract yourself. I'm just going to curl up with this person for the week and not worry. You have a process here, Virgo. It's difficult for you. You're coming in with the 7 of Swords. I also have the 3 of Swords and I have the 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords is your advice card. This is saying stop, pause, don't just push on doing other stuff. You've got hurts to work through, trepidations to work through. Do you have behaviors? Are you exhibiting behaviors, especially in your relationships, which rather than being genuine, are simply designed to avoid hurt? Hurt to them, hurt to you. Are you being overly personable in that sense, or overly giving? Are you stepping into situations that you don't actually want to be in because they're convenient? It's the 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords, you don't stick around in places where you're not seen, understood, felt, heard. You go and find something better. You go somewhere better. Even if that somewhere is by yourself, so as you can deal with your shit. Real test for you, Virgo. Real test for your relationships, for your connections, for what you do with your time. There is a light being shone on your patterns. You need to be deciding very carefully whether what you're doing here is genuinely beneficial for you or whether it simply holds you up. I hope that makes sense for you, Virgo. The next sign is going to be Libra. Libra, Sun, Moon and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Libra. You bring in the optimism, Libra. You bring in the optimism. I feel that really strongly. You also need to make sure that it's genuine. It's good to see the best in people. It's not good to go one-dimensional, one-sided, turn yourself into a naive mug or a naive fool. Naive fool, Libra. This isn't a time to be everything's going to work out fine. This is a time to take inspired action to improve things so as they become good. And that's something you might be fearful of. In particular, you might be fearing confrontation at this time with people around you who are doing harm. People who you know are harmful to you are causing wider harm. You might be avoiding that. Might be avoiding taking sides. Everything's probably fine. No. You got to be more decisive at this time, Libra. Why are you avoiding it? Fear, anxiety, dread. Don't want to lose them. Don't want to upset them. Blah, blah, blah. 9 of Swords. Your advice? 5 of Swords. You're not here to ignore battles. You're not here to ignore fights, Libra. You're not. Does that mean get drawn into something for the sake of it that's draining? No. Does it mean stand for what you believe in? Does it mean believe in something, Libra? Pick a side. What do you actually believe in? What do you actually think beyond the kind of broad, vague fairness? Maybe that, maybe that. You got to start to nail it down, Libra. You got to start to understand what's driving you here, because what's driving you predominantly is a bit of fear more than anything else. Desire not to upset people, not to commit to anything in particular. But you need to commit to what you believe in. You need to commit to what you're going to do going forwards, what you'd like to happen. You do. And that's what you've been avoiding. And that's why that's being thrown up by the astrological weather at this time. Because there is no avoiding that, Libra. So you gotta, sorry about that. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Scorpio. Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Scorpio. Hi, Anna. Hi, Lisa. Goodbye to the troll that I just deleted off the page as well. Scorpio. So Libra wasn't fighty enough. Scorpio, you're a bit too fighty, a bit too cynical, a bit too, I don't want to say paranoid. No, it's cynicism. Cynicism, Scorpio. Part of you that believes that everything's going to go to shit. And they're full of shit. And that's crap. And that's rubbish. And bollocks to that and all of this. So you're against certain things. And sometimes it's justified and sometimes it's not. But it's also about being for something, Scorpio. And it's not about one-upmanship. It's not being better than other people. And crucially, it's not about being fatalistic. Okay? Things can be worrying. It doesn't mean that they're doomed. It means there's space to make them better. You may be carrying a bit of hurt within you that's projecting outwards in this way, and it's not the healthiest thing ever, Scorpio. Coming in with the wheel. So you may be looking at the flow of events and the thing, people around you, things around you. But I feel like you might actually be the one on your knees, even though you're pretending not to be, the one cowering a bit, rather than rising up, seeing a bigger picture, more options. That this can go in a variety of directions, Scorpio. And recognizing that actually you're a bit anxious, you're a bit scared. And there may be a bit of showboating from you in this way that deflects. So I have the 8 of Swords for you. You can change this. You have a role to play just like everyone else. Being practical, but a big part of that, Scorpio, is allowing yourself to admit where you're wounded in order that you can begin to heal that. Queen of Pentacles. And there's the key that you're holding to this. You're a part of this. Why you can't be in this solely cynical place, Scorpio. You have to be contributing positively in some sense, and that's in part observing where you block yourself, where you might make it worse by talking everyone else down as well. Be very careful with that this week. I hope that makes sense for you, Scorpio. I'm going to ask you to give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. The next sign is going to be Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Hi Teresa, it's wonderful to see you. Happy New Year to you too. Sag. You're the second sign with a propensity to be distracted this week, Sagittarius. Distracted from the things that you should be working on, distracted from the things that you value, distracted from the things that are important to you. It's like there's just a few things going on that are trying to get your attention. And they feel a lot of them, like they are diversions, they're traps, things you can get pulled into, go and do for a bit, they don't mean very much. And it's not a great week for it. Not a great week to go chasing squirrels in, like down the road, in the park, into the trees, whatever else. You could get lost for a long time. You're coming in as the Empress. So on the one hand, you're feeling good. On the other, you might be a bit bored. Quite a bored-looking Empress there. But you have to have a little bit of a work ethic at this time, a little bit of a practical focus. Sagittarius, staying power, bit of wisdom as well. You're coming in with your challenge as the Queen of Swords. So you don't need to be pulled away. I mentioned fun things pulling you away. There could be arguments and rows as well, but either way, don't get pulled away. Don't get taken off course. You've got to be wise. You've got to be calm, centered here. Focus on the task in hand. Recognize when somebody is trying to wind you up or pull you away or take advantage of you in whatever sense. and when you don't have the capacity for it, Sagittarius. I have the Seven of Pentacles for your advice. You got shit to do, and you're going to do it now or you're going to do it later. But if you wait until later to do it because you're off doing this, then it becomes harder. You got more to do. It slows you up. You feel less free as a result. And all because someone's pulled your strings. So this is about ensuring your strings don't get pulled at this time, Sagittarius. I did mention the importance of this week and of being in integrity and an alignment. And for you, that means not being dragged off on a weird tangent. I hope that makes sense for you. Thank you, Teresa. So the sign is going to be Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Capricorn. Saturn conjunct Pluto in your sign in a few days, Capricorn. You're not going to miss this one way or another. And it's a lot of pressure, Capricorn. It's a lot of pressure. But I feel like you're going to fly into action around this. You're going to know what to do. Understanding of what to do. You're feeling the pressure with the 10 of Wands. I don't want to add to that because I know people have been like, this is huge. And some people are like, oh, it's the apocalypse or whatever. It's not the apocalypse. It's not, but it is the start of a cycle. It is a time that pushes us hard to be at our best. See it in those terms because your head might have gone down and it needs to not be. I feel like certain things coming out of your past are going to make sense to you, Capricorn. So you're going to feel lighter as long as you're not avoiding this stuff. So people may come out of your past as well. And you have a clearer understanding of who they are and of yourself and your relationship to them and the experiences that you've had. A lot of insight there. A lot of insight there that you want to apply nice and quickly, Capricorn. I have the Angel de la Nuit for you. I also have the Emperor for you. So you are looking at what's in front of you, but it tells you about your experiences. And then you're moving into action, Capricorn. You're like, oh shit, okay. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to work on this. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to push forward on this. Actually, I know clearer who I am now. What I'm supposed to do next. What I need to do next. What I want to do next. And that's what I'm going to kick on with. So there's this simultaneous, it's a lightening that comes from this insight, Capricorn. And it pushes you into a very quick movement into action, and things are going to build from here. Big change, big new beginning for you. Don't take on too much of other people's stuff at this time. And don't assume that things are just going to continue as they have been, because I do feel it being a big, big shift for you. I hope that makes sense for you, Capricorn. Thank you, Stony. The next sign is going to be Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Aquarius. I feel this is a week when you do listen to other people, Aquarius. When you don't just cut them off early, where you don't just predetermine what you feel they're going to say to you or what their meaning is, but you actively listen to them. This is your shift, your change. Often you block other people out, you block their views out. And while I've said you're not here to be influenced or manipulated externally, I feel like other people's ideas may chime with you. You may have an understanding of them. They may cast light upon things for you at this time, Aquarius. I have the Angel de la Nuit for you. I also have the 8 of Wands for you. Now, the 8 of Wands is a possible reaction. And that can either be running away from other people and what they have to say, or it can be joining forces with them in common cause, with common ground. Okay, actually, I get it. I hear what you're saying. Let's go and do this. We can work together. We can work together. And remember, you're supposed to be a sign about inclusivity, Aquarius, as well. So don't close people out unnecessarily. Yeah, you have to be discerning, but that includes being discerning about why you might be avoiding them, as well as why you might not want to be influenced by them. I have the Moon as your advice. Is there a fear here of committing to work alongside other people, of committing to common cause, common ground? Maybe I'll get found out. Maybe I should just go and do my own thing. No, you're not going to. You're not going to, Aquarius. You need that connection. You need people alongside you. I hope that makes sense for you. Odile, I'm offering year-ahead readings. If you'd like to book a full 2020 reading, my details for that are just in the box below. I'd be very happy to connect with you. Otherwise, I'll be pulling cards for a couple of people at the end of the videos. Please hold your questions until then, because if you start chucking questions at me whilst I'm reading for other people, all it does is pull on my energy and cause disruption. But you're very welcome to book me privately. Details are just there. The next sign is going to be Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 6th to the 12th of January 2020. Pisces. Pisces. You've been in a good place, Pisces, but things are moving slowly for you at this time. Because things are moving slowly for you at this time, this might lead to you getting a little downhearted. Maybe dropping back into some old patterns. Maybe some pessimism. Maybe even some delusion, but I want to stick with pessimism for most of you. And while you need to work with your process and there are things that are upsetting you and there are old wounds to work through, the pessimism is something that we need you to not fall into at this time. And you need to catch yourself and what is influencing you. Is this a belief about things always going wrong? Is this a thought form that's attached to you? Is this something you've internalized when it deserves to be pulled out of your body and chucked into the external world that caused it? So as you can go, no, that's because of that, and fuck them. And I'm fine, and I'm good. And you're not going to wreck me this time. It's like that for you. And that sounds confusing, but it's Pisces energy. It's bound to be. Hopefully those Pisces watching are going to chime with it. You come in with the 7 of Pentacles. That's things slowing down, not quite getting there. You're wondering, are they ever going to get there? And the point here is not to retreat. It's not to back off. It's to take inspired action. What do you want to happen, Pisces? Well, how are you going to make it happen? How are you going to make it happen? Are you standing in your way, or is the external world standing in your way? Because where it's you deconstruct that stuff and you get rid of it. That requires emotional maturity. You have the Emperor showing up. You have the King of Cups showing up. So you've got to be taking a bit of charge, taking a bit of control for yourself. Looking at the way that sometimes you can buy into the very things that are holding you up, holding you back, rather than challenging them. You've got to be the boss here, Pisces. You've got to be the boss of yourself, your own process here, in terms of not allowing yourself to disappear down a little rabbit hole that doesn't really go anywhere except into more despondency. And that doesn't mean that you can't honor your sadness, your upset, the things that have gone wrong or that are not working out. But it is about being inspired to work out, okay, how am I going to do this? It's where I want to go. That's what I value. What I align myself to. How am I going to do that? Analyzing your patterns, if necessary, with external help as well, with the King of Cups showing up, Pisces. That has to be your focus for this week. I hope that makes sense for you. That is all 12 signs. Thank you all for being here through those. I do have time to pull cards for a couple of people. If you have a question, please pop it in the live chat and I will see which of you I am drawn to. I will focus in particularly on people who I haven't pulled cards for a while. Obviously, if I have pulled cards for you on the channel, then you know what my style's about, and you're obviously welcome to book me privately or send me a donation as well. And for anyone wanting to book me or send me a donation or connect with me or collaborate with me, my details for that are all in the box just below. It is a busy, energetic week. There's no way around that. We got to work with this. If you missed the collective reading, please go back and watch it as well. Please go back and watch it as well and see what you are actually looking at as part of the collective as well as individually, because this has to be a collective focus at this time. So far, I can't see any clear questions coming in. Snarky Star, I don't understand your question. You're wondering if you met your spouse. Are you married? Are you not married? Like, you have to help me out here, because I can read the energy between you and somebody else quite clearly. But I don't understand the question that you're asking. You're single. If you're single, then you haven't met a spouse because you've been married to them. So I can look at what's happening in your love life at this moment in time and give you a few clues. And if you'd like a more detailed account of your love life, you can obviously book me privately. Yeah, the sense that I get is you're saying you're single. There are people around you. You don't really know what to do about them. You're not sure where these things lead. And the difficulty is that I feel like you're somebody who goes, okay, look, I need this to be the big thing, or I'm not going to go for it at all. And it's like you miss out on the experience that way. It's very polarizing, very polarized, your approach. Two of Swords. Now, your challenge is the Star. And your advice is the Three of Wands. Do you give things time to develop? Do you give things time to become something? Do you give things time to play out properly? Or is it all in and loading way too much pressure and expectation on, because this has to be the big one, has to be the love of my life, has to be my soulmate? Or bailing out because, oh, I don't know if this is going to work or not, so I'm going to really take the time to get to know you. Take the time to get to know people. Feel into these things. Give yourself the space and the time. Give yourself and that person the respect to see what you create together, what you mesh into, where it all leads. Because you're in the right place having these meetings. Now, if someone hasn't done something drastically awful, give them a bit of time. I hope that makes sense for you. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to wish you all a wonderful afternoon, evening, night, or morning, depending on where you are in the world. If you'd like to book me privately, if you'd like to get a year ahead reading, if you'd like to make a donation, collaborate with me, connect with me, interview me, book me for an event, all my details are just in the box below. You can get in touch with me anytime. Thank you all again. I will see you all in advance of that lunar eclipse in Cancer that is coming up. Busy times, stay in integrity, stay in alignment, stay in a place of genuine love. I'll see you all again really soon.